If you had to identify the most elastic object in a room, you would almost certainly point to a rubber band, rather than a solid steel beam. We associate elasticity with flexibility, how easily something can be stretched out of shape. But the science of mechanics defines elasticity entirely differently. It isn't about stretching, it is the ability to rigidly regain an exact original shape after a force is removed. When burdened by tons of raw material and heat, these massive steel structures fight back to maintain their geometry perfectly. In physics, steel is vastly more elastic than rubber. In the physical universe, however, nothing is perfectly rigid. No matter how strong a material is, applying an external force will cause it to deform, even if that deformation is microscopic. To understand exactly how objects fail, we have to measure two core variables. The first is strain. Strain is the physical, measurable change in a material's dimension compared to its original size. It is the visible result of deformation. The opposing variable is stress. Stress is the invisible internal restoring force generated per unit of area inside the object. It is the material actively fighting to snap back to its normal state. Every single bridge, tall steel skyscraper, and vehicle on Earth relies on the outcome of this invisible battle. Mastering the mathematics between external strain and internal stress is the foundation of all structural engineering. This animation shows the first way the physical world tries to deform an object, a linear, one-dimensional stretch or compression. When a force pulls straight down the length of a material, it produces what we call longitudinal strain. Now watch as the force acts horizontally. This is shear stress. Instead of pulling the object apart, a tangential force slides the top surface out of alignment with the base. The overall volume stays identical, but the physical shape itself distorts. Finally, look at what happens when an object is squeezed from every single direction simultaneously, like a ball sinking deep into the ocean. This is bulk or hydraulic stress. The shape remains stable, but the internal volume physically shrinks. Whether an object is pulled linearly, slid diagonally, or crushed from all sides, it has to generate precise mathematical resistance to survive its environment. To map a material's breaking point, we can test it in a virtual laboratory. This chart plots the relationship between our two variables. On the x-axis, we track the physical strain as an object stretches. On the y-axis, we measure the internal stress it generates in response. As we begin applying tension, the graph draws a straight diagonal line. In this early stage, the material absorbs the tension perfectly. The physical stretch and the internal restoring force rise in a perfectly locked proportional step. This proportional zone is governed by Hooke's law, the foundational rule of stable elasticity. As long as the line is straight, pulling twice as hard simply creates twice as much stretch. Notice the exact steepness of this slope. We call this angle the modulus of elasticity. A steeper slope means you have to apply massive stress to get a tiny amount of strain. It is the raw, mathematical measurement of a material's stiffness. Because there are three ways to deform an object, there are three corresponding metrics here: Young's modulus for length, the shear modulus for shape, and the bulk modulus for volume. While operating entirely inside this proportional zone, a material acts like a highly predictable, infinitely reusable spring. You can add load, remove the load, and the object will reset perfectly to zero every single time. Look closely at what happens when we continue increasing the tension. The straight line suddenly terminates at a marker we call the yield point. This is the material's elastic limit. Crossing this threshold breaks Hooke's law entirely. The curve flattens and extends to the right, showing that the material is now stretching rapidly without much extra force. If we remove the tension right here, the line doesn't return to zero. It drops down to a new position on the x-axis, meaning the object has suffered a permanent set and will never return to its original shape. We applied significant physical energy to drag the material up this curve. By changing the physical structure of the metal, that work doesn't just disappear into the void. The visual area shaded underneath this curve represents elastic potential energy. It is a precise equation: 1/2 multiplied by the stress, the strain, and the material's volume. Pulling the material past its limit effectively turned it into a loaded mechanical battery. This is an incredibly dangerous state for a structure. The material is physically fatigued, its internal geometry has been altered, and it is holding volatile, trapped energy. Once an object is pushed past its yield point, the structural integrity is permanently compromised. It might still be holding weight, but it is silently setting the stage for inevitable failure. If we continue applying extreme tension, the graph reaches its absolute highest vertical peak. This is the ultimate tensile strength. It represents the maximum internal stress the material can possibly generate. Past this absolute peak, the material physically gives up. The object undergoes a process called necking, where the physical center of the material rapidly thins out and loses all remaining structural integrity. Watch the end of the line. It actually dips downward, requiring less stress to keep stretching, until it hits this terminal boundary, the fracture point. This is the violent moment the material snaps entirely in half. This entire physical arc, stretching from stable elasticity through the plastic zone and ending in a violent fracture, serves as a highly specific, readable fingerprint for every material on Earth. Consider ductile metals like copper or drawn steel wire. Their stress-strain fingerprint features a massive, elongated plastic zone. This allows industrial machines to stretch and pull them safely into long, thin coils without ever hitting the fracture point. Elastomers, like industrial rubber, behave completely differently. They defy the standard rigid curve, possessing a fingerprint that absorbs massive amounts of continuous strain with little stress applied, allowing them to stretch through machinery and return to form. We don't build modern civilization through trial and error. By testing materials to their ultimate destruction in a lab, we isolate the mathematics of their stress-strain curve. That data allows us to engineer massive structures that can bend, sway, and absorb catastrophic shock safely within the invisible limits of the physical universe.